Welcome to Dark Sorcery. I'm Alfredo Martinez, and I have with me Sander and Nasi. How you doing, Sander?
Hello, and thank you very, very much for having me. I'm very honored, and I'm a great fan of the channel, of course, have been for a long time. It's a dream come true to be able to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the compliment. It's a pleasure to have you on. So, go ahead and tell me where you're from.
Well, I am originally Albanian, but I've grown up in Greece and Ireland. Also lived in Germany and France, and I've been around a good few places in the world. You may not believe, since I'm one of the profiles that don't really fit really within this community, I never really had much of an interest until it came to me. I was ex-military, and I'm also a paramedic. So I've served in two different elite forces within the countries that I lived in. And yeah, I mean, the whole situation of how everything came, it's really, really rhizospastic, because it never followed any of the steps that it would have for most people. You know, I was like literally the last person on earth you would imagine to ever believe or get involved with any of this. But yet again, it came and it made a hell of an entry. And here we are today. Many, many things have happened, and life has never been the same ever since.
Very nice to hear. Yeah, I like to hear people's stories that are unique, and so this is a great opportunity here. Now, what's it like being an occultist in the different countries that you've traveled in? And, you know, because for me, it's one thing for me, you know, knowing how it is in the United States, but I want to know how it is, how you know, in Ireland, you know, Albania. How is it accepted?
Well, it really, really depends. There are all kinds of ups and downs in today's society. Um, you can imagine, for example, on the eastern parts of the world, where they have more of a name of not being very tolerant, it's actually way more tolerant because, for example, you can look on TV and you will see there's all kinds of readers advertising themselves on public ads, on TV, on government channels. Okay, it's nothing new. People see it as a kind of a hobby. They don't really go crazy about it. They would not oppose it in any way where they would say that it should be condemned or it's seen as evil, because they do have a good connection with their history, and they do understand that all of these things, and alchemy included, is ancient, and of course it's part of their history, of course, and who they are. The Western world is a little bit different. You will find the minorities that will oppose you. You will find the religious fanatics that will, of course, condemn you and would rather crucify you, which I personally do not subscribe to at all. I don't think that fanaticism of any kind is healthy. And then you would find those that would act tolerant, but once you come to reveal yourself a little bit more, because in time, of course, you cannot be hidden forever, then they would try to strain away. And then there is the very, very last group, which one will come across, which is extremely rare. They are the ones that will be either acceptant or will even want you to help them and solve some problems of their own. And they are the most beneficial for you, because then they will bring upon the name and idea that you have actually helped them. And then even more people will come to you. And it's a big thing when you are a witcher. It tends to happen this way randomly because of the energies you emanate. Consciously or subconsciously, people will be able to pick it up. They'll feel it. And then they will come to you with their problems, with their necessities or worries, or even better, requests. And then this is where the real side of things comes up, because you manage to help people with whatever knowledge or even small operations you may offer them. Alchemically, of course, we're talking about.
Right, right. Okay. Now, where did your interest in magic begin?
Like I said, I never really had any interest or belief that it was real. Well, I knew that they were forces outside of what we perceive as the scene, because what you see is not what is. There is way more beyond it. Okay. I was never into meditation and all that. I was more of a physical activity person, of course. It literally just stepped into me. I have a previous video with Anton. I'm not sure if you've seen it, where I describe everything in detail that took place within the last 3 years, basically. Um, it just rammed into my life because, well, years later, of course, little did I know it was already there since a very young age, at the age of 5. And there is all kinds of practitioners that, for example, there are those who seek it, and there are those who are simply approached. It is not to be feeling in any way special or anything like that. If you are approached, it means that chances are that you wouldn't have accepted or embraced any of this if you weren't approached directly in this way. Whereas for others, it is easier because they simply have that interest implanted within them and they follow it, and then they get to where they are later on. In my case, I had to be approached, and I was approached severely. Things did go to bad extents, unfortunately, with me, to the point where situations were brought upon me that my own life was risked because I was denying it. Now, this has made for difficult relationships with specific spirits that are involved. But of course, there are others which we have a great relationship, which I work very closely. They have become my patrons, and we have gone through some heavy path workings, some of the heaviest possible, some severe transformations, and operations that are literally next level.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Um, Now, how would you describe your magical style?
Oh, um, I stand in the middle of many, many verdicts and many, many opinions, and I'm a very controversial character. It is very hard to find a match for me within this community. Like, I personally do not subscribe to the anti-cosmic view because it is silly. You cannot spend your entire existence seeking to oppose or destroy. It is a waste of existence, and it is impossible. You will not be able to destroy what has been created. It is way bigger than any of us. I personally don't have anything against the creator either. I was lucky enough to meet him twice. He came to me. Usually, most people meet him once, and if they ever, and it's usually very short. He visited me twice. I don't have anything against him personally, and it would be foolish to do so because he is everything that was, is, and will be. And you came from that source. So you cannot oppose the source because you are part of the source. You are part of the all. Everything is within you, as within, as without. So by trying to go against that source, you're literally trying to go against yourself, which I don't understand why one would want to be against themselves. It is beyond me, my personal understanding. And the transformations that I have been through, they bring a total different philosophy and understanding of things, if done correctly, of course. If you take upon you the elements which are valuable and valid. Because when you are dealing with negative energies, then your entire being, your polarity, will be reversed, of course. You start off as a light being, now you become a darker black light, okay? Which emanates and is transformed according to the image of the spirit which you work for. You will, of course, take some of their philosophy, you will take some of their knowledge and the way they see us and the world, and, of course, the creation. But you can never only dwell within that destructive force. You need some light for balance. If you do not have the light as a balance, what happens is you will suffer from severe mental issues which will develop due to the dark forces which you are literally bringing within your body, because true transformation happens from within. You will never really go anywhere if you do not bring these forces within you. And no, like it or not, once a spirit manifests, even though it seems externally to you, it is taking place internally as well. because everything manifests from within to begin with. That's where it has to start. The human becomes the portal, the bridge, the dark hole, if you may say it so, where these spirits will manifest and come out. So they must start from within you to come out first. They didn't just poof appear in the air. So that's how it works. Now, the light does, of course, the exact same thing. It transforms you in that way. It makes up for balance, because these forces, they are negative and they might start hurting your physical body if you do not practice what I call spiritual hygiene. It is not to say that I'm going to bring the light to oppose these other forces. These forces are there for the sake of balance. Okay, because every time a light is shown, a shadow is cast. If you stay with too much light, you will be blinded. If you stay with too much darkness, you will be lost, because abyssal energy does that. Both must be in balance. There is no opposition in the creation. Things are there for the sake of balance. Take one away, and what happens? Everything is disturbed. If we take away the light, what happens? Destruction follows, and then we're going to have the world looking like Mad Max, nothing but a desert. Take away that, and everybody becomes a gullible little thing with the mind of a child, which is, of course, not logical, because then it will only take for one simple person in this planet to snap out of it a little bit, and then he would be able to have the entire world in his hands, because everybody would simply follow him, because he will be cunning and everybody else too innocent. So it doesn't realistically exist. We have to accept that.
Very, very well explained. I like your viewpoint very much. Now, what would you say was your first holy shit moment in magic where you say, wow, this is really real?
Oh, see, it all started as when I was literally, I was dating a witch at the time. It was the very first person who I dated that was so open about it and would say that I'm a witch. I personally didn't really see it as something that was surreal. I just said, okay, you have a little hobby, you throw a couple of cards, that's it. There's not that big deal. Where I come from, they do it all the time. But then I started reading LaVey's book, and she didn't like it. So I saw it as a funny thing. I was like, look, don't go mad. Nothing is going to happen. This is nothing. And I was like, oh, look, there's this thing called an Alken Keys. This is some kind of a cool real language. I had never read anything on this. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I don't know who made that up, but it looks nice. She told me, don't read it. So again, I saw it as a joke. I said, okay, I'm just going to sit down here and read one of these every day. And there's about, what was it, 9 of them? So little did I know, I turned this into a conjuration of 9 days straight, every night. And then what happened when I finished it is that as I was going through it, the book is kind of old, if you know. His Bible is like a small little black book, and the pages are like rough, you know what I mean? The way they print them, and it feels like a very old book, which is of course not that old, but it has that feeling, very rough pages thing. And as I was reading the last verses of it, it has like a weird creamish color, like the walls, like your wall behind you, literally, not totally plain white. And the letters are black, heavily printed, but they started having a red aura around them as I was reading it. Literally, it just flared up like. So I was like, okay. I was tired that day. I had trained a lot. I was boxing. I got a good few hits in the head, so I thought maybe it's the light because it's late. I'm not looking at this correctly. So I finished it up, and then the whole room just felt very, very warm, as if the sun itself had come in. And you started having this weird feeling of unconditional love and illumination. And I was like, what the hell is happening in here? That feels weird. Little did I know he was behind me. Oh, we may call him Lucifer. There's many, many, many names he has. This one is one of the names that the Catholic Church invented in Latin. I don't really use that name, to be honest. I prefer many other names that he has. They're more authentic. Some of which are not allowed to be revealed publicly. He has many. Lucifug is a better one. So I went to bed that day and nothing happened. I didn't really bother with anything. I just thought this was like a weird kind of experience, but I mostly thought I was just more tired. And, sometimes when we are tired, fatigued, things start to shift a little bit in our vision. So the next day was just nothing but a normal day, nothing significant. once again, came here in my bed early, went into the blanket, ready to pass out for the next day. It was in the middle of the week, you know, so basically that's my routine. Work, train, come back, sleep early, ready to do it again. And then the whole room started going extremely heavy, like the atmosphere dropped, as if you were in space. Not that I've ever been in space, but you can imagine low atmospheric pressure, so to say. So I was like, what is this? And then literally I started feeling this kind of like black cloud light-ish thing coming together, like in the ceiling, forming like a warp, like a circle kind of. And it literally went like this together, kind of like Play-Doh-ish. And it merged and it started swirling to the right. And you could feel this kind of like very, very heavy, disturbing energy, like. So I was like, what the hell is going on in here? So I got up like this. I started looking at it. I was like, what is that? And then a mass dropped down. Like it was, I don't know, as if it was like blue or something. Like it dropped and it fell in front of my bed. So I was like, what the hell happened? And this thing just rises up like this. And it kind of looked like how to say, like a jellyfish or like an octopus. And then it shaped, when it took shape. And it was like kind of short-ish up to here. Man with a goat beard and horns. And from the waist below, it had goat legs. And I could hear his voice, but his voice was very chaotic, very fast, you know, like speaking very quickly. And you could hear him in your head. You wouldn't hear him like you hear me, because spirit doesn't have a voice. You may hear the spirit and see the spirit, which will not happen all the time, of course. You will get physical manifestations rarely. If they do happen when you are at a specific level, they will be happening randomly within the day. Like I am at the point now, I can go in a train or bus and like, boom, there they are. And I'm like, this is crazy. Nobody's looking at this. And or in a gym. Like literally every time I'm in a gym, for example, Villial follows me. Every day. I know he's gonna be there, like boom. I don't know why. He really enjoys places like that where empowerment takes place on the physical body for some reason. And he will go within you, and your whole face will change. You'll be walking around like that. It's a little bit difficult when these things happen because you know, like, oh, people are looking at me. And yeah, this thing like was starting to flow real quickly. Like they're very fast. They can fly very fast and move very fast. It was going from left to right, from one side to the next, and I was like at this stage. I didn't know what to believe because I was like, okay, I have no idea what's happening. I'm tired, I said. I'm just going to ignore this and it's going to go away. So I just turned around and literally tried to like turn on for some reason, I took my left side and I stayed there like that. And I was like, this is just going to go away. It's all in my head. And it literally came up to me and it touched me and I felt the claws and everything just going. And I was like, what the fuck? And it flew away again back to the same corner. Literally down there, that's where that wall was. Okay, right there, that's where it was. Yeah, all right. See next to the mirror? She was just standing right there then. And I was like, okay, this is happening. This is real. But I'm not going to deal with this thing. I'm just going to sleep. So I just turned around and then I started feeling very, very light. And it literally went 3, 2, 1. Boom, I passed out. Okay. And then it appeared like in darkness. And like first it was far away. And I could see it kind of like this small. And I was like, what the hell? And then it just flies into you and all you can see its face. But it had a different shape. It was more like it had white hair, you know, like the Witcher dude, but very, very straight, kind of like a lot of gel was put there. And it was going backwards like this, but it wasn't long. It was just like down to here, you know, kind of like a mullet-ish length. But he didn't have a mullet. It was just like long hair, stylish like that. White, like ashen white. He had yellow snake eyes, tiger color and stripes for some reason, with long thin arms and yellow claws, and a square face. Very, very slight fangs, like not very, very. It was hard to see. You wouldn't notice them if you didn't pay attention. But I was just looking at this thing like, okay, whatever the hell you are. What is this? Nice colors and all. I didn't know what to say. I think he started talking to me. We had a little chat.
Okay.
And then it left, of course. And like I woke up in a totally different position than from what I had slept in. and there was a lot of agony and anxiety. And then I remember literally again within like 3-4 seconds I passed out back again. I was like, what was that? And then poof again. And then I woke up the next day feeling like I got hit by a train. But then of course it all, after you drink some water and you eat, everything just went better at around 12 o'clock. It took me hours though to come back because your first time is like, oh. Well,
Right on.
my first wasn't even an invocation, like this thing was there to talk to me and it wasn't going to leave if it hadn't talked to me. It was its
Right.
mission for some reason. It was like, I'm here, we're going to talk, just surrender. I was like, nope. He was like, okay, boom, knockout.
Okay, well, now, do you prefer to work more by yourself or with other deities?
A very controversial view once again. See, the problem is that most people do become addicted to the energies and the spirits that they work.
Right.
Addiction shouldn't develop. This is not what this should become, because energy addiction will take away from your own personal power. Because people think, for example, that when I am invoking a spirit, I am wielding its power and using it. The spirit gave me its power, which could not be further from the truth. The spirit will never give you its power. Its power is for itself to keep, okay? The only power one truly owns is his own. The spirit may infuse you with its energy. It may give you some knowledge. It may open up keys within you and your alchemical cells, as they might call them, the mechanisms that we all have implanted within us. Chakras are one of them. There is plenty more. The soul is extremely complex, and everybody's soul is different. Some of the mechanisms I have, my next neighbor dude won't have. Okay. Of course, they all make for variety of character and attributes. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. We all just have different talents. Just like one can hear spirits better, one can see them, and so on and so forth. One is better with curses, the other one is better with lust. He's Mr. Casanova. Everyone has their, little talents. But the only power one truly owns is his own. The Belial himself has told me that before. So these transformations, what they do is they will give you certain extra elements. You will be transformed to an extent, but you will never be able to take the spirit's power and wield it. Because the spirit is not like a console on a PlayStation. You don't wield it. It transforms you. The rest is up to you to progress or how you want to perceive this energy that is given to you. So your own power is what you should be seeking more. When you cast something, make sure you cast it yourself. Don't always ask the spirit to do things for you, because the spirit will require many things. That most of the time is not really worth the manifestation to begin with, because most of the things that people ask are, let's face it, petty. Okay? What are you going to ask? A little promotion in your work? I mean, you can actually, the most intelligent thing would be to tell the spirit to teach you how to be magnetic and political, or to teach you the use of rhetoric, so you yourself may profit from these energies if you learn how to do them. Or the shape-shifting energy thing, which you can actually come across as whatever people wish to perceive you, whatever they like. Or the mirroring effect. Lucifer teaches that very nicely. Belial is great with business and rhetoric and having this very appealing energy. Lucifer will teach you the serpentine tongue. He will empower the throat chakra heavily. It will take a long time. It takes about 3 months. Might take 6 or 9 for other people. Might take years. It depends. For me, it took 3 months on end, and you will feel him coming in here, always pressuring this throat part. It literally feels like something is pressuring on your throat when it happens, but it's not going to be violent to the point where you're like, you're not going to choke. It's just a little bit of, you're going to get that throughout the day when it happens randomly, on and off. They have specific times and days that they will be transforming you. No transformation is a once off. It is all fluid. It takes time. Once you initiate into something, the transformations are constant. They keep coming in, out, in, out. Okay, you pass tests, you learn. So for those who think that I just did one ritual and I'm good, it doesn't work that way. It goes on and on and on, usually to the duration of your life. You will keep learning, keep transforming, and you will, of course, if you are at a certain level as a witcher, always project every night to different worlds. You will gain knowledge, you will pass tests. Your job doesn't end just because you did some ritual and then we can go out there for a walk, have some ice cream, and it's all good. It don't work that way. But in the end of the day, the only power which you will be wielding is your own. You are not bringing in the spirit into you, and you do not have the spirit power. The spirit, of course, can do way, way more, but it will not. Because if the spirit does it all, you are out of the picture, which you shouldn't, because you are a piece of the creation. You're supposed to put your own energy and efforts into things and to manifest what you wish with your own energy, not simply having the spirit do it for you, which it won't. Let's be honest, they won't. They're not going to do it. They'll tell you what to do, but they won't do whatever you want.
Very well said. What would you say is your favorite divination method?
Oh, this goes deep, deep into soul searching. So the very first part of when I started working with King Belial, as I like to call him, because that was his archangelic name, Belial became has more of a darker twitch after he fell. To me, he doesn't mind both. Personally, it depends. Don't use names just like this. Depends on the person. For someone else, he might say, "Don't call me that." For me, he says, "I don't care." Um, you will go into the whole soul searching thing when all the darker aspects of yourself will come up, and then everything starts bothering you. All the mistakes you've did, all the failures, if you have any severe ones that you had forehand in life, they will all come up into the surface and they will torment you daily. And this is how you are starting to learn how to master your shadow, which is basically the negative aspect of yourself, which is very alive. Okay. And from that negative aspect of yourself, it will be shaped, transformed, increased. And after you master it to the point where it doesn't really affect you and hurt you anymore, then you are deemed powerful and reborn. And then you can take it from there. That's the stage one of all transformations and initiations when you start with spirit. That's what they will do always. They follow a pattern, kind of like a robot. They will follow these synchronicities, which happen within the universe at the same time. So every other Witcher globally is pretty much doing a very similar work to yours. Or will be putting something out there that some specific groups of newbies will be looking for, and somehow it just pops into their feed. It's crazy how the system of the universe works. Once you get a glimpse in it, you will understand it is crazy. So many synchronicities at the same time. Numbers are endless. And so are the possibilities and the transformations which are taking place daily and night, all the time. So I did my own little soul searching. And through the path workings and the time that has passed, I found out that I have what we call the sight. Okay. I'm very, very confident to say I have some of the worst astral ears I've ever heard. I've ever heard, which is difficult sometimes to hear. To me, they might sound like they're very, very distant, somewhere far away, or in a hole in the ground. And you're like, ah. But I have the sight, and I'm better with energy, more intuitive, which means that if I want something, I will be getting more of energetical answers rather than hearing them blown off my ears, which they can do. They have done before. But because of the amount of astral ears, which I kind of lack more in comparison to others who I know, they will not be doing this blown voice off thing because it takes a lot of energy. So what they do is they give me energetical answers, and they also give me the sight. Now the sight means that it can be used in many ways. It's the astral vision thing. I can sit down and I can literally just go deep within myself, and boom, the spirit will appear, and I will ask for something and it will give it to me and it will say it to me. Through the sight, I can receive all kinds of pictures that they want. With the sight, you can also find people. You can say, oh, well, for example, I'd like to run into this person and speak to them. Which way do they walk after school, work, gym, etc.? Show me. Boom, spirit shows you down that road. If closer to you, if you know the street, even easier for you to find it. If not, you'll have to ask for something specific, like a sign or somewhere, so you can find where that place is, even if you don't know it. Another good way with the sight, which must be combined with the astral smell, this happens between werewolf and vampiric transformations that will take place. They are extremely severe, and if you are not in peak health condition, do not do them because they will affect blood pressure, breathing, and most of all, the heart rate. So if any issues with that, I would say never go near dark spirits because the abysses and energy where potential, which is already there, will be increased to huge effects. But it cannot give birth to new potential. If you are crap at something and you just don't have it, the abyss is not going to give it to you. It doesn't give birth to new things. The light does that. Light creates. Darkness takes and transforms within the womb, the dark womb of Lilith, as we call it. Brings you in, spits you back out. You are transformed within the attributes which you already possess. You will gain some new attributes from the spirit, but you will not be reborn and created new attributes. So what do I mean? If you are a heavily introverted person who is not good at speaking to the public, but you are very shy, okay? You are much better at writing, but you are not good at talking. You block, you cannot block, you sweat, you just lose it in front of people. You cannot ask to become an influential speaker of some sort, okay? Because no matter what kind of transformation the dark spirit gives you, it cannot magically turn you into a speaker. You are simply not a speaker, my man, but you're great writing. They can influence you with inspiration. You can write amazing books, and your energy will be implanted into them, and the people will take it subconsciously. And that's when your sales will flourish. So we have to know ourselves first, learn the self to be able to learn what you can do best. The smell can be combined with the sight in great ways for those who wish to know once you go into advanced transformations. If you are looking for someone, you can literally ask the spirit to take you close to wherever it is that you're looking to find them and ask them to give you their energetical trail that they leave behind. You will literally see that trail as a form of energy going through the streets, and you will smell that person's energy. Everybody smells different. Some people smell like bird shit, others smell like lavender. It depends on character. It's a very common thing. Shitty people smell bad, okay? Good people smell nice. So you can literally see and pick up that astral smell, okay? And you can follow it. And you will find the person. It will literally, it can lead you to a house, it can lead you to anywhere they are, a play, or it can lead you to a public bar where they hang around. And you can just say, okay, usually it's a Saturday night, so people be out looking for guilty pleasures and adventures. So that's where you can enter into this place and boop, here's your person. Voila.
Right on. Right on. I think that you've went ahead and the way you've explained things cleared up a lot of misinformation that a lot of new practitioners tend to run into, and you definitely have a lot of experience. You can tell, and the viewers can tell. But before we wrap this up, what can we expect from you in the near future?
Oh, the future is always unpredictable amongst men, but we can never really know what comes our way. We can just get a little glimpse of it. Spirit will never reveal your full future because it will change your life, it will change your choices and the way you see things. So some things are best not told, and you should be left to follow your life's path as it is meant for you. Believe it or not, we all have our own choices, but we also have a path which is foretold at the same time. When you go too much astray, something will happen which will bring you back into it. So there is and there isn't the thing called making your own destiny. It's hard to explain how the universe works once you get a glimpse into it. It is and it isn't. It makes and it doesn't make sense. It takes a lot of intelligence to understand it. And even if you're a genius, you still won't get it because, we're all human at the end of the day. I personally do not get heavily involved with putting myself out there publicly. Like I don't do services. I don't really have a channel. I used to, but then I stopped because I work for a global social media company, and the algorithms do hit people in your contacts because you know how the machine works, and I couldn't afford people that know me, of course, in the business sector knowing what I do. That's not what I want. Because, of course, I will use whatever knowledge I have within the business sector for my benefit. So if people know what I'm doing, I immediately get put under the scope, which is what we don't want. I believe there is great power in secrecy and in solitude when it comes to the dark matter of things. Because when you stay in the shadows, nobody knows what it is that's happening. If I wish to influence the business world or my business environment, not the entire world, sorry, for my benefit, nobody must know what it is that I do. Because subconsciously, people will pick it up, believe it or not, and they will blame you. So it is best for you to remain unknown. But there are, I'm in cooperation very closely with brother Amun, as you know. We do run the Code of Belial channel, which we share a lot of knowledge, which is merely for free. I personally don't heavily capitalize upon it. I want those who are involved and who are infused with the energies of the king, Belial, to learn and to progress. So that's what I do. Like the stuff that I put out there, these so-called famous ones would charge you hundreds. I just put it out there and say, take it without fear. Unfortunately, most people do not do that, but there is trial and error, and we have to come to terms with it. Take the knowledge that is given to you, the meditations, the spells, do it. See how they manifest, how your energies will raise, how things change for you. Take account of your dreams, anything, because they will be forgotten later on. Because projection does that sometimes. Even if you're advanced, it depends on the kind of world that you've been. Some worlds are more heavy than others. So you could wake up and remember an entire night's projection like a movie, like a 2-hour movie. But you may even have a short half-an-hour projection, and you come back and you don't remember a damn thing after 2 minutes. You just go brush your teeth, you come back, and you're like, everything is gone. I literally had it right here, but poof, it's gone. So keep in mind of that. Record your stuff always. But of course, the work is never done. We will keep going with way heavier empowerment rituals that are coming from the spirits, as they have said. There will be tons of knowledge coming in, spell work, initiations, path workings. They want new aspects of them, never to be recorded, that people don't know, be put public, which we do all the time in the channel. I'm literally gonna sit down and get ready to post another aspect of Belial, which hasn't been recorded before. It's his serpentine aspect. He has tons of them, known and unknown, under many names. We'll be posting it on the channel. Of course, if you allow us, we can also share it with you, your channel on Facebook, so people can get to work with this aspect. Because the new aspects that come out are extremely powerful. Okay, they all have different attributes, but to my experience, the general aspects are out there for people to make a connection. Whereas when you get deep in work with the spirit, these new aspects will reveal themselves. And then that's when the real juice is. That's when things are going up many nudges immediately. So these aspects are vital. I would suggest to all of them to try these aspects, and don't be afraid, of course. Our work will never be over as long as we live. We will keep putting things out there because that's our role, to help people develop and open up to the reality, which is not the reality you see. What you see around you is the prison, which has been enforced upon systems of human beings and other systems which are less human. I don't want to say too much, of course, because we don't want to risk getting banned, but you get the picture. We have to open ourselves up and to see the reality of what is and what isn't and what exists. There is so much more beyond this hologram, this illusion. It is real, but at the same time, it is just an energetical projection. You can rip through it like God did when he first visited me. He ripped through the entire hologram, man. Literally, his hands went and he ripped the world into my ceiling. And all I saw was his golden light, and that was his face, like coming into me, speaking to me. He's huge, by the way. You're about 5 centimeters, like a little doll in his hand. He's big. He's very big. Yeah. But he's cool. I like
I like the way that you broke things down. It's very unique from other practitioners and teachers that may attempt to explain the same thing. But it's been very nice having you on. It's been a very interesting conversation and getting to know you. And to all the viewers, go ahead and like and subscribe to Dark Sorcery. And I will go ahead and post the Cult of Belial Facebook group and YouTube channel. You can go and check those out. Him and Anton run those. Sander, thank you for being on. And to all the viewers, go ahead and like and subscribe to Dark Sorcery.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor. Rise and conquer.